Hi guys, my name is Barry Kerollis and I am the choreographer and creator of Core-ography. I wanted to have an opportunity to speak to you guys, so I've decided in between all of the videos that I'm going to do a choreographer's corner vlog essentially, so that you can kind of get an idea of what's going on in the process, how things are going, who I'm working with, and all that stuff. I watch YouTube channels all the time. I'm obsessed with Miranda Sings, I'm obsessed with Jenna Marbles, Nika Higa, and recently local Philadelphians, Boyfriend versus Girlfriend, Jesse and Gina. So I'm not trying to necessarily do exactly what they do, but I think that we need something like that in the dance world, and I want to give that to you guys. I think a good place to start is maybe you should learn a little bit about who I am. I was born and raised in the Philadelphia area, but not Philadelphia. I started dancing when I was 2. I was one of those kids that was constantly interrupting my sister's dance class while waiting for her to finish. The teacher saw an opportunity, and instead of getting frustrated with the parent, she asked if I wanted to stay in class. And when I said yes, she said, as long as you behave, you can stay. I trained locally in the Philadelphia area until I was 17. I left and started training at the Creator Academy of Ballet in Washington, D.C. Very strict Russian training. All of our teachers spoke Russian. A lot of times they would actually talk. They'd speak in Russian so that we didn't know what they were talking about. They were mostly talking about us, or not. But after that, I went to the School of American Ballet in New York City, which is the feeder school to New York City Ballet. I spent a year in my apprenticeship with Houston Ballet, and after that, I joined Pacific Northwest Ballet. I spent 7 years in Seattle dancing with Pacific Northwest Ballet, which was really a great experience. During that time, Peter Bowl, the company director, the artistic director of the company, he had a choreographer showcase that was available for the dancers to really play around with the idea of choreographing. One year I just decided to put my name up, and during the meeting we were talking about it, and I explained to Peter Bowl that I was nervous. I wasn't sure how it would go, and I didn't want the pressure of actually having to follow through with it. And he was pretty great about taking that pressure off. So I went ahead and did it, and it actually went pretty well. Back when I was at the Creator Academy of Ballet, a couple of us students put on a performance. It was a September 11th remembrance performance where we raised money for one of the children that passed. I created a solo for myself as a part of that remembrance performance, and I got about halfway through creating it and I panicked. I guess you could say choreographer's block, but I didn't think I was a choreographer, so I just thought that I sucked at choreography. So I ended up asking one of my friends to help finish the solo for me, so really only half of the choreography was mine, and I pretty much swore off choreography after that. Oh, hi Maddie. Maddie wants to join in the interview. Say hi. Say hi to everybody. So I felt that I had failed as a choreographer. I felt like it wasn't my calling. I wasn't supposed to be I wasn't supposed to choreograph. I wasn't a choreographer. In 2011, I decided to leave Pacific Northwest Ballet. I was feeling a bit stagnant. I was getting to do some really nice roles, but I didn't feel like I was progressing as an artist the way that I wanted to. So I left Pacific Northwest Ballet and I joined a small company called Ballet X. And in Philadelphia, which surprisingly brought me back home to the Philadelphia area. It's having an incredible time. We were working in a very different way than I had worked at Pacific Northwest Ballet, which would eventually help influence my choreography now. Unfortunately, while preparing for a tour with Ballet X, I had an injury. It was during an off time, but I still had to make money, so I was rehearsing with Alaska Dance Theater. And when I came back to work with Ballet X again, my injury wasn't fully healed and it re-aggravated. And long story short, a very long story short, they ended up letting me go because I was injured. And it was pretty devastating for me. I was essentially forced to freelance full-time to make a living and to let my career continue. Through my freelancing, I started a blog called Life of a Freelance Dancer. I'll put a link down below so that you can check that out if you want to. I started this blog thinking, well, I'll write about it as I do it. And then hopefully people will want to hire me so that I can write about working with them, and also I can help out other freelancers or people that are thinking about freelancing. And my freelancing really took off. In the past 3.5, 4 years, I have worked everywhere from Los Angeles to New York City to San Francisco and Anchorage, Alaska, all the way to New Orleans, Fort Wayne, Indiana, Rochester, New York, and a handful of other places. So one thing with the blog is that I don't just post like happy things and great experiences. I try to share every side of freelancing. At times people have written me, or even friends have told me personally that I share too much information about my personal life. It's come back to me where I wrote about having an injury, and then dancers get injured. It's a reality of our life. So I had an injury, and 2 years later I had another injury, a separate injury, and people refer to it and they say it's the same injury. So in that case, it's come back to bite me in the ass. But whenever I've written something related to an experience like that, with all the detractors or the people that have said you shouldn't be sharing that stuff, I always have a few people that reach out to me on the other end, and they've said that I really helped them through a difficult time. Back in May of 2014, so a little over a year ago, I suffered a really bad injury dancing with Oakland Ballet. I really wanted to work with this choreographer, Robert Moses, so I said, okay, I'll figure out my own housing. A couple days after I had arrived, I was staying with a friend for a few days. My full-time housing that I was supposed to move to had fallen through, and I essentially lived, I wasn't homeless on the streets, but I didn't have any place to stay for 5.5 weeks, moving from house to house, sleeping on couches and couches, pull-out beds. I even slept in a child's loft bed for 2 weeks. And it was a really, really challenging time for me. It's proof that you shouldn't take gigs that do things like that, because after 5 weeks, I ended up really severely injuring my back. And that sort of really pushed me. It was a really bad experience, but it's really pushed me to where I am today. I was thinking, how can I stay a part of the dance world while I continue to recover? So I decided to really start focusing on my choreography. And I think that one thing as a choreographer that's really important is you have to constantly be working and developing your craft and fine-tuning how you create and how you move and all of that. A lot of companies have their repertoire filled 1, 2, 3 years in advance. So I was getting interest from some companies, but they weren't able to say, oh, we'd be interested in offering you commission. Trying to come up with an idea of how I could continue working, I came up with the idea for Core-ography, because it would be an opportunity for me to continue working with dancers. B, it would give me a chance to work with dancers that I really wanted to work with. And C, it has a really positive message of sharing people's experiences. And at the same time, I wanted to do something that stayed true to what I had been doing with Life of a Freelance Dancer. I knew that I could do the foundation for this project, but I'm absolutely novice, brand new at filming. I'm still learning. So this entire project, I'm hoping it will only get better and better as we move forward. We've gotten some really exciting notice for Core-ography from a handful of dance organizations and publications. First, I was interviewed for Balancing Point by Kimberly Falker, which is a really cool podcast. I got to speak a lot about my background and how I got to where I am today, and then I got to talk a little bit about Core-ography. And then in the last couple of weeks, Point Magazine and Dance Spirit have also written blogs about Core-ography, which is just a dream of mine to be able to create something and to have the dance world be able to see it, it's really just thrilling for me. I'm very excited and proud that just our first artist was able to get some publicity from some major dance publications. I'll be traveling everywhere from London to Seattle to Atlanta to Washington, D.C., Madrid, Boston, to work with our artists. So there's a lot of costs involved, and I've only raised enough funds to really complete about 4 of our artists. So if you're interested in making a donation to Core-ography, you can click the link below. I am fiscally sponsored by New York Live Arts, so that means that I can accept tax-deductible donations. I just want to say thank you to everybody that's watched our first video, and to ask you to continue to share it with your friends, or push the thumbs up button, the like button, so that we can see that people are really enjoying it. I'm hoping that this project can reach out well beyond just the dance world. I'm hoping that people from all walks of life will want to watch this. I've put together the most diverse group of dancers that I know. We have young dancers, we have older dancers, we have international dancers, I have people of all races, genders, sexualities, and I'm really hoping to share a broad spectrum of life experiences with our audience. So if you like what we're doing, make sure that you push the subscribe button, and that way you'll get updates to our videos and you can see as we continue to put them out. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope to see you every month when I put out this Choreographer's Corner. So I hope you enjoyed, and that's the end. Bye guys.